Welcome to the Design Patterns for Unity series. Today we're going to talk about the command design pattern. The command design pattern is used quite heavily in game programming, and some examples where you can use it is for controller mapping, to queue actions, for example in turn-based strategy games, but also in real-time strategy games. Also you can create a history of actions, and the main functionality, for example in menus and so on, is that you're able to create an undo functionality quite easily. Now let's take a look at a few examples of this design pattern. First of all, let's look at the controller mapping. In Unity, you can map the controller quite nicely in the preferences. However, this system of Unity is going to be reworked in the coming years. So the current system has a few problems. For example, if you want to remap your controller at runtime, that's not the easiest way. You know, the key to achieve this functionality is just to use the command design pattern. And with the command design pattern, you can change the controller mapping at runtime. The next example where the command design pattern can be used very easily is real-time strategy games. For example, if you want to queue actions like this, you can see here in StarCraft 2, I can tell my units to move to different locations and they will move there one after another. And once they reach their destination, they move to the next one. You can also queue different actions. For example, I can also build, I can also first move around a little bit. And after that, I can build something. So I can queue different actions. And this is one of the best examples of the command design pattern. Another example where you can use the command design pattern is to create a history of actions. For example, I have Photoshop here, and if I draw something, programmer's art, I know, amazing. But if I draw something, you can see each action that I take creates a new entry for the history. As you can see, every time I draw something, there's a new entry. And the last great use case for the command design pattern is if you want to undo things. So, like in Photoshop, I can easily undo the actions that I take one by one, and that's very convenient for some games, but it's very convenient to have this functionality in option menus. For example, I'm sure you know the revert to previous button if you did some changes and don't want to save them. This can be easily achieved with this design pattern. Now, as I already told you, the undo functionality can be quite handy in games, and I wanted to show you a little example. So I picked Into the Breach, and if you look at Into the Breach, you can move your character around somewhere, for example here. And after I did this, I realized that was not a very smart move. And I want to undo this stupid move. So what I can do is just press this little button here, and it just undoes the move. And it doesn't really matter which move you did, it just undoes the previous move, which is very handy for turn-based strategy games. So as you can see, the command design pattern is used quite heavily in computer games. For example, controller mapping is something you need in almost every game. And queuing action is very handy for most games. Also, to create a history or undo actions is also very nice to be able to do very elegantly. So in the next video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper how the command design pattern works, what's the theory, and after that, we're going to look at the implementation.